Hi everyone, welcome back if you're returning. Hi if you're new. My name is Alyssa and it's been a long time since we have been here. It just didn't feel like the right time of my life to be making content, and that's really it. Work was busy, life was busy, and it just wasn't working. So yeah, I'm glad to be back now. We're having a bit of a snow day, a lot of a snow day here in North Texas. And so I thought it would be a good time, since I'm at home and I'm cozy and I'm working on a couple of projects, to share what I'm working on with y'all again. Let's start with a little bit of an update on what I've been up to in my absence. So last time I saw y'all was last summer, and we'll kind of jump to last fall. There was not a whole ton of making from July through October. A few little socks here and there, some knitting teaching samples I had to make, that kind of thing. So nothing really exciting or worth sharing here. But sort of November and December were big sewing months for me. So I don't have any of these things anymore because they were all gifts. But we will go through sort of what I sewed for people, a little bit of a roundup. So first up on that list was the thing that took up the majority of my time in November, late November and into December, which was my mom's quilt. So I made my mom a quilt. I don't have a photo of it done. I only have a video of the quilt top from my Instagram. So I will see if I can import that here. But if I can't, it is over on my Instagram at multicraftual. I used a charm pack from Moda called Home Sweet Haunt for that. She said that she wanted a fun Halloween fabric. I let her pick. She knew what fabric she was getting. I let her pick the fabric line. And then I used pre-cuts to make a throw size quilt. And I ended up doing big stitch hand quilting on it. The thread, and that's what I don't have a photo of, but the thread that I used for that was DMC Ecru in size 8, because it looked really well with the vintage look of the fabrics. And I worked on that every single day from right before Thanksgiving, minus my Thanksgiving travel. That project wasn't good to travel with. It was huge. So right before Thanksgiving all the way till the day, like 3 days before Christmas. So that was a really big project. It took up a lot of my time, and I rewatched pretty much all of Stranger Things while I worked on it, seasons 1 through 4, while we were getting ready for the finale. That was probably my biggest crafting achievement of last year. I learned to sew last year, and by the end of the year, I made my mom a quilt for Christmas, and that felt like a really big achievement. Was it perfect? No, but it's beautiful and she loves it and I love it. In addition to my mom's quilt, I sewed 2 project bags. I only have a photo of one of them. This was made with some solid green as the lining, but the outside fabric was vintage fabric that I got at an estate sale last year. So that was really fun. Those were gifts for friends. I don't remember the name of the pattern that I used right off the top of my head. I'll pop it up on the screen. It was actually a makeup bag pattern that I found on Etsy, and I thought, that looks like the large version, not the little one, but the large version of the pattern looked like a great project bag. They recommend the pattern. It's really easy to follow, and the creator has a video tutorial, which was really useful when I was making mine. So yeah, there's the pink and green one. And then I also made one with a fun artsy, like paint swatch looking type fabric with a red lining for a friend, but I just don't have a photo of that one. In addition to the project bags, I sewed a couple of bows. These went on gifts and were intended to be reusable as bag charms. So I have, I think, a photo of at least one of them here. I just used an Instagram tutorial. There were a lot of tutorials going around this year about sewing your own bows, and so I just kind of followed one of those. And these were really fun. I made them out of some fabrics that were destashed to me, and also a fabric I got at an estate sale last year. Big year for the estate sale for me. Lots of big wins, hoping for more big estate selling wins this year. I also made a set of felted coasters that I gave away as a gift. So that was fun too. Sorry, I don't have a ton of photos of of what I was up to with the holidays, my main focus was just getting things done and getting them to their recipients. But yeah, Christmas time was definitely not so much knit crochet heavy, but way more like me at the sewing machine heavy. And that was really, it was really fun. It was also fun to make like the bows and the project bags and stuff. It was fun to sew little projects. I think sometimes, and we'll talk about this with my knitting and my crochet, I sometimes have an aversion to small projects because I love like big, elaborate, impactful projects. And sometimes it's like a little project is both functional and rewarding and doesn't take forever. So I foresee more both in sewing and in my knitting and other fiber arts life, smaller projects this year, stuff that feels just time-wise attainable, because I love having a big, long project. I'm literally looking at the project bag on the floor where my Battenburg blanket is living, and that thing, even if I get all the colored squares done this year, there's no way the blanket is getting done this year. So yeah, it's just nice to have things that feel small and achievable. And that was really nice at the holidays. And also it felt very cozy and very seasonal to be at my sewing machine and making things for the people in my life. So that's what I kind of was up to in my absence. It was a good time. All of my Christmas sewing, it was a really good time. I really enjoyed all of it. It was a really nice break from things like work and sort of just general stress. So that's what I've been up to at the end of last year. But now I want to show you some things I've been up to recently in the new year. First up is something that's not fiber related. Instead, it's beading, it's jewelry making. So I have been taking some classes over at Be Made Beads in Fort Worth. Great store. If you are a Fort Worth local, you might have been there under its previous ownership, which was the Artful Bead. Abby bought the store, I believe, a little over a year ago, and she's so great and she's awesome, and her classes are great. And so I've been to 2 classes and events that she's put on, and I want to show y'all what I've made. So the first class I went and took, we made charmed bookmarks. So these were really pretty. We did this method where you put 2 strings of beads on there. So I did all of my purple beads on one side and all these kind of like slate gray toned black beads on that side. And then for my charms, I don't know if y'all can see that, but I did a key, a cupid, a 4-leaf clover, and some swans. So this was really, really fun and easy. I would definitely make these again as gifts for people. Knowing how to do it now, it was really great. What I really loved about the class is that she had all these like buckets of beads mixed for us that we could like pick from. And so I got a lot of texture and variety in here that I wouldn't necessarily have achieved with my own bead collection because it just isn't that large. So yeah, this was really fun and I had a great time making this. And then after I took this class, I signed up for the store's class where you made earrings. So first we started off with just practicing our wire wrapping skills. Please, I know these are not perfect, so don't judge. But we just did a couple little charms to start. And I'm going to turn these into stitch markers. So I have the lobster claws in my crafting supply stash. So just some little charms, some fun stuff there. And then we made 2 pairs of earrings in the class. So first I made these fun, y'all can see these. I made these fun ones with mushrooms, little stars. These are so cute. Let me grab the other one. Okay, so I made these. These are going to be a gift to a friend of mine. She already knows. I already sent her the photo. So these were really sweet to make. And then for me, oh, there's another practice charm we made. And then for me, I made these really beautiful sort of like snowdrop earrings that kind of mirror the other ones. They also have stars up at the top. I was in a very like, I don't know, stars and moons and flowers type mood when I went to the class. So yeah, these were really, really fun to make and I'm really excited. I haven't had anywhere to wear these yet, but I'm very excited to give them their proper showing off and wear them. But these were really, really fun. And I definitely, now that I know how to do sort of these earrings that have a top part and then sort of a a dangly bottom component. My jewelry making terminology is not great. Please forgive me. Now that I know how to do this technique, I will definitely make more of these in the future. This was really fun. That's all that I have for y'all in terms of finished objects. And now I want to show y'all a couple of whips that I've been working on. First up, the new year hit and everybody around me was casting on something new year, new sweater, that kind of thing. And I just didn't, sorry if y'all heard that. My dishwasher made an odd noise. I just wasn't feeling that energy. I looked around, I had a lot of works in progress, and I was like, I think I want to pull one of those out. So I did, and I've made a little bit of progress on it. This project is kind of, ooh, my chart got squished. This project's kind of slow going, but that's okay. This is the Pressed Flowers cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And I cast this on last year, did one repeat, and then shoved it in this project bag. Why did I do that? That's silly. That is a silly thing for me to have done. So I got it back out, and I think I've done one whole additional repeat, and then I'm on the third repeat of the pattern. You have to do 12, I believe, for the body. So my stitch stoppers aren't on here. That's a little worrisome. Where'd they go? Okay, hold on. Let me put some stitch stoppers on here so I can not have a heart attack. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to be good about using stitch stoppers on this. I normally am not good about that, but I kind of don't want to drop stitches on this project because they would be a pain to fix. Okay, there we go. These are super cute. These are from, I got Super Glow Yarns Halloween trick-or-treat little mini bag thing, and these were in there. These are super cute. Okay, back to the project. Pressed Flowers cardigan, Amy Christoffers. I'm using 2 different yarns for this. So first, the pink, the contrast pink in this is from Mace of Skeins. This is her colorway Love Yourself, I think. Is that what this is? Yes, Love Yourself on Club Sport. Macy did close her business this year to pursue other creative ventures, and I'm so supportive of her. And I also feel like a dragon sitting on her treasures for any of her yarn that I have in my stash. So yeah, anything I still have left that she dyed, I feel very precious about since she's not dying anymore. But yeah, this is called Love Yourself. It's just a really beautiful, like barely pink, like the palest, almost cream pink with speckles. And it looks really great in the cardigan as the flowers. And then the green is Cascade Heritage 6, which is the sport weight version of Heritage. And this is in the colorway 5608. It's just a fun sort of foresty green color. And yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm not sure yet if I want the full length of the body. I'm probably going to shorten the body just because I'm only 5'2". And sometimes I find that sweaters where it says to knit the body to is just like a little too long on me. I'm very short torsoed. So I'm going to knit to probably about the 9 repeat out of 12 mark, and then do some math and talk to my friend Lynette, who's really great at knitting math, and see how I'm feeling about the length and if I want to then split for the front and the back. But this is where I'm at so far. And I've really enjoyed picking this project back up. I think I did too much vanilla potato chip knitting for too long. It was just all socks or things that were just, I didn't have to think about them. And I don't think that was good for me for as long as I was doing that. I need some projects right now that I actually have to think about and make decisions about and be creatively engaged with. I think that is better for my overall well-being in this moment. So this has been really fun to pull out. I have this in a By the Bay project bag. She sadly is no longer selling these either, but if you ever find one on someone's D-stash, they're great. They're great. I love them. So there's canvas drawstring bags, but they're really well made. They hold up and they age really well. So that is the first whip. We'll see. I want this for spring. So as far as garments go, I'm not casting on any other garments until this is done. I might pull out some other whips and work on them, but as far as there's no new cast-ons until in the garment department. Because I do have a cast on, I'm going to show y'all later. But in the garment department, nothing until that is finished. I'm not going to shove the pattern back in there because it was getting mutilated in this project bag. Okay, so that's my first WIP. Second WIP. This is what I've been working on this weekend while we've been snowed in here. This is a mix. This is a mix of a existing pattern and something I've self-drafted. So last year, I'll pop some photos up of it. I made a friend a pillow for her birthday. And what I did is I took the Battenburg blanket pattern and I did some measurements of a pillow form that I'd gotten from Joann's. Rest in peace, fly high, girl. And I based on those dimensions and the size of my squares, I self-drafted a pillow pattern. And I'm really proud of myself because not only did I make a pillow, I made an envelope pillow. So she can take the insert out and wash the cover because she has a dog who I knew was going to want to snuggle with the pillow. So I made it so she could both wash or replace the insert and hand wash the cover. So I wanted one for me this year. And so last fall, no, right around kind of around Christmas when I had wrapped up my mom's quilt, I wanted to work on something for me. And so I pulled some squares out of my, let me grab this because it's right here. I have this gigantic project bag. I think this is from Fangirl Fibers. But it is entirely full of all my squares for my one day Battenburg blanket. They're all, I don't know if y'all can see that. They're all hanging out in there. I rifled through this and I found a color palette that I knew I wanted. So if y'all can tell, y'all can see my couch color. Yeah, my couch is olive green and I have all these like pink blankets and pillows with pink on them on here. So that was the vibe I was going for. I wanted something that was going to match the couch here. And so that's what I've been doing. I have the front panel of the pillow done. I actually got the front panel done last night. Yeah, last night. So, I mean, I still have ends to weave in, but crochet wise, front panel done. Like I said, this is the Battenburg blanket pattern by Sandra Paul. Cherry Heart, I think is her brand. Make sure I'm not hitting my microphone. And I took it, I used the dimensions of, this is a 10 by 10 pillow. This is what I'm basing it off of. And I'm making a cover. The inspiration for the color palette, in addition to wanting it to look nice with my sofa, was that I had several skeins of this colorway from Madeline Tosh in my stash that I just didn't know what I was going to do with. So this is the colorway. I think this was a limited edition colorway. I don't think this is on their website anymore, that they did a long time ago. This is called Nashville, and this is on their Twist Light base. I had 3 skeins of this in stash, and I remember it took me 2 skeins and then a little bit of a third, like a tiny bit of a third, to do my friend's pillow. And so I thought, oh great, this will be a great use of this yarn that I don't have a project for, that is beautiful and I want to use, but is sitting stash, has no plan. And then whatever's left, I'll just knit socks with. And then that'll be a great use of the yarn. The reason I had no plans for this yarn is I originally got it. I was shopping with my mom when I was visiting her once, and she went to the yarn store with me, and I asked her if this colorway would look good on me. And she's like, yeah, sweetie, that'll look really pretty on you. But I don't look good. I think she saw all the green and the pink in it and thought, yeah, those are colors she wears. Those would look good on her. And that is true. I do look good in green and pink, but I don't look good. It's very hard. There's only like certain shades of cream that look right on me. And I just don't think a sweater out of this yarn would have looked good on me. So I kind of was at a loss for what to do with it. But I had the idea of this pillow. This had all of the colors in it that I was imagining for the color palette. And then it kind of came together with all my other squares. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So like I said, this is the front panel. I have this stitch marker from Superglo. It's a little butterfly on here to mark the top so that I'm always orienting it correctly, because something that's important is that the back matches up nicely. So this stitch marker on where I've started part of the back panel matches up to this stitch marker, so they kiss. So I always know that I'm working where I need to be. The reason it's important that they line up is because I want it to seamlessly transition from the front to the back. So here we have a colored square, but then if you flipped it over, we have a joining square, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am not quite at the halfway mark because the back two panels, because it's an envelope style, instead of being 10 by 10, I make a panel that is 10 by 4, and then I make the larger panel that'll go underneath that in terms of overlap, and that's an 8 by 10. So it just takes a little longer to do the back, but that's okay. I'm in love with this project. I am so happy with how it's turning out, and this has just been giving me a lot of joy to work on, and it also is mentally engaging, like the pressed flowers cardigan, because I get to think about color placement and making sure I have all my granny squares like laid out in stacks on my coffee table, and I get to make sure like I'm like using them at a ratio where they're like evenly dispersed, and that two colors that are the same aren't touching each other. And it's just been really, really fun. I'm so excited to have it. It's going to look so good with like all the colors that are going on here. And that's going to make me really happy. And again, this, I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's not a garment. And I think I need a break from stockinette garments and socks and things like that. So this has been fun. All right, next I want to talk to y'all a little bit about the projects that are upcoming for me and things that I'm excited to start. The next thing that I would really love to cast on, and I think I might cast it on tonight while I'm watching a movie, is this lovely little neck scarf that I'm so excited about. So I was watching M to the Third's podcast, I think it was her What I Knit in or What I Made in 2025 video. I'll have it linked below. And she showed this cute little scarf that she had made. And I have now decided, I have not felt in the past like I could be a tiny scarf girl. Everybody's been knitting tiny scarves, and I thought, I look like a flight attendant, like in a not cute way. And I can't be a tiny scarf girl. But I chopped my hair off last fall, and something about the bob is giving me the confidence to feel like I now can be a tiny scarf girl. So I'll pop a pattern photo up. This is the pattern. It's from Leila Raven. It's called the Ziggy. And it was perfect for something I had in my stash because it uses one skein of spin cycle dyed in the wool. And what the heck do you do with one 50-gram ball of spin cycle? So if you have done a sweater project with spin cycle and you have a leftover like ball and you don't know what to do with it, this would be a great project. This is the colorway I'm using. This is called Mississippi Marsala, and it's these beautiful blues and oranges. So this will be my color changing yarn in the pattern. I got this, I think in 2022 at an estate sale for $15. This is where my love of the estate sale started, truly. There was a knitter and she was moving abroad and downsizing, and when I found this, I felt like I'd won the lottery. It was wild. So, but it's been sitting in my stash because I haven't known what to do with just one ball of it. So to pair with this, I picked up from my LYS this Yarn Citizen Trinity Cashmere in the shade Glacier. It's this lovely light blue. The fiber blend on this is really lovely and luxe. It's 49% super baby alpaca, 39% mulberry silk, 12% cashmere. It's 25 grams and 247 yards. So I was looking at the pattern and it said it required 50 grams of your fluffy lace weight. And I thought that shawl is really little. That can't be true. The yarn used in the pattern came in a 50-gram hank. And when I looked at people's projects, they only used less than 25 grams. Like there were people who used similar yarns to this that come in like a 25-gram put up and didn't even use the whole ball. So this was actually the last ball of this color at my LYS. And I was like, it's meant to be. So I'm going to pair these two lovely yarns together and make myself a cutie little neck scarf. In the photo, it is like giving mini, like little shawl. The way that I saw it styled in the podcast I was watching was like tied like a tiny scarf. and I was very into that. So this is definitely going to be a very exciting cast on, and I think the color changing yarn is going to encourage me to keep knitting on it, because it's the joy of being like, ooh, well, if I knit through all this light blue, then I'll get to where it's like orange, and then I'll get to where it's sort of taupe, and that'll be really fun. Sure to update y'all on how this one goes. Last up on things that I want to start in the near future is a Mill Hill cross stitch kit. I love doing little Mill Hill ornament kits. They're so fun. This one is from the Autumn Harvest collection. It's called Taboo Kitty, and it's really sweet. You finish this one not as a Christmas tree ornament, but as a magnet. And it's a little kitty cat like in a lantern with a pumpkin. It's really, really sweet. There's actually some that they have on the back of the package here that I also want to do, but this one's really cute, and I'll either keep this for my own fridge or I will give it as a gift to my mom, because she also would really like this on her fridge. But yeah, I like doing these because they're small and they're fun, and the beads, like doing the beads on these is the most enjoyable part for me. It's so soothing. It's so fun to like watch your project become sparkly. So yeah, it also has this cute little star. Is that a button? Yeah, it's like a little button that goes on there. So this one will be really fun. This one was released in 2019. I did see recently that Mill Hill, I think they were having trouble sourcing the perforated paper, I guess, and so they've switched to a different material for the perforated paper, and reviews say it's good, but I'll be interested to try one of the kits, the newer kits that has the different paper in it, and see if I like it. But that is next up in terms of little cross stitch projects, because I also like that when I'm working on them, I can just shove them back in the little plastic baggie that they come in. Like, it's all very contained, which is nice. I want to show you one acquisition. So in addition to the cashmere that I got to do the little neck scarf, I got a copy of Summer Lee's book, The Sock Obsession. Have I knit through her last book? No. But I really did want her new one, and there's so many beautiful patterns in here. Let me show y'all one in particular that's been kind of eating up my brain space because it's so pretty. Is it those? Hold on. No, it's not those. Hold on. Let me find it. It's in here somewhere. If you're not familiar with Summer Lee, she has podcasts. She makes amazing sock knitting patterns. So I think once I'm feeling a little bit back on my sock mojo, these will be fun. Oh, it's the studio socks. I just love this color combination that she picked. I think this is so beautiful. I love the striped toe. I love the chartreuse. I kind of just want to I normally am not a make it in the exact colors in the pattern photo person, but I kind of just want to make this in the exact colors of the pattern photo. What did she use for that chartreuse? Main color, yeah. Plucky Knitter Zinc Oxide. That's what it's called. So pretty. These are there's something very feminine and very grungy and something very like 2010s about them. I don't know. I'm obsessed. I think they're so cute. I love them. Oh, also the Aran sweater socks. These pink. I want these in the exact color she used too. These pink socks with the pink and red cuffs and all the cables. These look yummy. These look beautiful. So yeah, Sock Obsession's out now. I love supporting Summer Lee. She's great, and this book is beautiful. And I love that it looks like the fonts and stuff, it'll look good on your shelf next to the sock project. Love it when that happens with books. So that's very exciting. All right. So here at the end, I want to share, I feel like I don't share enough about like the art I consume or the things that I'm enjoying in that realm of my life. So I wanted to share a little bit with y'all about some art that I'm enjoying. First up, I decided I thought about doing all the monthly yarn subscriptions come out. And you think about, should I do that? Do I want to do that? And instead of doing that this year, I signed up. There is an artist. Let me make sure I get her name right. It's on this envelope. Yes, Kira Cyan. You can find her on Instagram. She does a monthly mail club, and the first month came, and it was so cute. So it comes to you in an envelope, And the first thing that I got was this beautiful postcard. The whole theme was like winter and rabbits. So it says forget me not. And then I can mail this to a friend. This is so sweet. And I love sending snail mail. So this was perfect. And then in here is the stickers and the art print for the month. So let me get this out of here. And then I'm going to put it back in the vellum so it stays nice. Yeah, Kira's Stamp Club. So cute. So this is the sticker sheet for this month. It's got like mice and rabbits and a snowy window scene. It is so cute. I really love all the art on here. And then this is the art print. It says, "You'll feel warm again," which I think is a beautiful sentiment, both if you're going through a hard time and for this time of the year where it is very cold outside in North America. So I think this is beautiful. Lovely treat to get in the mail. And it also supports an independent artist. And in the age of just AI slop content, I think it's really important to support artists that you love and that you admire their work and that their work is beautiful and brings you joy. So, yep, that's my rant about that. To round out the art section of the video, I wanted to share with y'all just a little personal project that I'm doing this year that I'm really enjoying. So I have a goal to listen to 12 albums this year. And the criteria for this project is that I have to be familiar with the singles from the album or like the big hits from the album, but have never listened to the entirety of the album, the whole thing all the way through start to finish. And this has been a really fun project so far. So first album that I did was Purple Rain by Prince, released in 1984. This one was definitely inspired by the use of Purple Rain and When Doves Cry in the Stranger Things finale. And this was such a fun listen. If you're not familiar with Prince, Purple Rain's one of the greatest pop albums of all time. A couple that I just had never listened to. And so loved my listen, great time, awesome. And then I haven't finished journaling about my thoughts yet, but the second album that I listened to this month was Hounds of Love by Kate Bush, also inspired by the use of Running Up That Hill in Stranger Things. And that album really surprised me I just had never listened to a Kate Bush album all the way through. And it's so weird and esoteric and very, very much for fans of synth pop and Florence and the Machine. If you've not listened to Hounds of Love, go listen to it if you're into those things. If you're not into those things, I don't think it'll be for you. But I really did love the title track, Hounds of Love. That one's really good. Cloud Busting, the other big single that I hadn't heard before off that album, is good. Big Sky is really fun. So that's been fun to just kind of dive into some music that clearly I like part of the album and in the form of its singles, and just haven't dove any further. So that's been really fun to do and to enjoy as a way to, I don't know, enjoy things that maybe your algorithm isn't feeding you. I think sometimes I get really annoyed with my Spotify algorithm because it's just kind of feeding me the same stuff over and over again based on, the fact that I listened to Evermore by Taylor Swift for the 1 millionth time. And while that's great and I love being fed my favorites, I also want to discover new music that I love, and Spotify isn't, or any algorithm isn't really going to do that for you. So doing a project like this is really fun to find some new favorites. And pro tip about that, if you feel like you want to expand your music taste, start listening to your local radio stations, your independent radio stations, because those DJs are pulling those music choices with love. And I find some of my favorite like new artists and some of my favorite artists, both independent and more established, from my local radio station. So support them. They need it right now. They need it very badly. All right, y'all. I think that is it. I hope the slew of projects that I showed you was a fun way for us to come back. A little bit of a fun update here at the end. I did end last year net negative, so I used more yarn than I bought, which was great and I felt like went really well, and I can't wait for it to go even better this year, continuing to use my yarn stash and enjoy the beautiful things that I've picked out for projects I'm excited about. So If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a snowflake emoji down in the comments. Uh, and tell me what you're working on. Tell me what's exciting you. What are you crafting? And hopefully it won't be so long before I see you all next time.